Alright, what is up everyone? Welcome to episode 2 of this thing I call Car Thoughts. How's everyone doing? I'm hoping you all are good. To the very few of you that are watching, for now, you guys are going to be the special few because you guys are basically like little guinea pigs, little Teslas. Now that sounds cool. But yeah, welcome to episode 2. This is definitely going to be kind of a better episode than the first one, mainly because I don't have to worry about talking about an additional little bit about what's going to be happening with this whole thing, so I can just kind of get right into it. But today I kind of want to talk about cars. Yeah, let's talk about cars. This might be kind of how I'm debating in my mind about it. It's probably going to be a two-parter just because I love cars, and I could talk about cars forever. Like stories and topics on cars, like what kind of cars I actually really like, that type of thing. But yeah, today we're going to be talking about cars. Like, I think when I started liking cars, it was kind of around, what would it be? Because, I don't know, I kind of had a fascination. I always loved Transformers. Transformers are like, they're probably like my little gateway into actually getting into cars, I guess. Because I have a massive collection of little action figures. Probably not as big as a lot of people, but definitely bigger than a lot. But I love Transformers, so I love cars. Just because, like, I don't know, they're so intricate. There's something really, really cool about them. I love finding out more about how to work on them and stuff. I personally have such a fun car, such an expensive, amazing car. Let's just put it that way. It's spectacular. The 2018 Nissan Altima. Mwah. Love it. It is spectacular. Now, granted, it's not the most amazing car in the world. I will admit that. However, I love it mainly because it's good gas mileage, good kind of a traveler car. And for me, I have to drive 11 miles to and from work, so 22 miles in total, and, you know, everywhere else in between, because I'm kind of the chauffeur for my little sister, for the most part, just because she doesn't have a car yet. But I've always loved them. I've always loved cars since my days as, like, a little kid, loving Transformers and stuff. One of my favorites, though, you gotta get it down to, like, the nitty-gritty, like, what are, like, your favorite types of cars? I love I hope I don't butcher the name of this. It's called for me, like how I look at it, how it's spelled, how it's like phonetically read. It's the Pagani Huayra. I think that's how it is. Pagani, P-A-G-A-N-I. I think it's Huayra. It's H-Y-U-A-R-A. I think that's how it's spelled. It's spectacular. Are you kidding me? It's one of those cars where it's just like so insanely like expensive too, where you're like, but it's one of those that's super worth it. Like it's that kind of a car. Because there are a lot of these guys who were designers, and they were like, you know, we're gonna create like really cool looking cars. So they decided, you know what, we're gonna come together and we're gonna make a dope car. So they made the Pagani. And kind of how it is. It's, you can have it, I think it's automatic, and it's a manual. So you can switch between whichever one you want. And the way I'm kind of talking about it is right here, where the gear shifter is. It's an open gearbox, too, so you can see everything that's happening. But then, if you don't want to worry about it, you can, I think there's like a switch or something you can flip in it, where it'll basically be automatic. And then you can have, like, the little paddle shifters on the side, too. I'm pretty sure that's part of it. So, I love it. It's spectacular. It's one of the most amazing cars I've ever seen. Not just because, like, the open concept and everything, but it's also got the gull-wing doors. It's also got, like, all the speedometers and stuff. It's, like, Victorian-era writing. Like, it's all, like, handmade writing. It's literally so beautiful. However, if you want a brand new one, you have to have, like, a collection of, like, antique or, like, brand new cars, or you have to buy one used. Which, I mean, buying one used, kind of how I'm thinking about cars is like, if I bought, because like when I bought my car, I was thinking, oh, I have to have something new. I have to have this. I have to have that. But in all honesty, if I bought a nice car that was from, like, let's say 2010. The car that I had before this was a 2010 little Mazda 3. It was a stick, so it was fun. This one I have is an automatic, so it's kind of stupid. Not dissing automatics. I just think it's more fun to drive stick, especially with a V4, because you can get a lot more out of it. But crap, I just kind of forgot. But with like nicer cars, like I was looking at a 2010 Jaguar XF Supercharged. It's basically a couple grand. I think it's like $2,000 cheaper than the car that I have now. One, it's a Jaguar. Two, 470 horsepower. However, it does have rear-wheel drive, which amazing. It's great for a car like that. But in Utah, where I currently live, snow. Freaking black ice everywhere. So unfortunately, it's not really the best car to have here. But also in my mind, I'm thinking, no, it has to be new. It has to be amazing. But then I got to thinking, with the thought of the Pagani, you have to like either buy it used or you have to be like selected to buy it new. No one's gonna look at your Pagani and think, oh wow, what year is that? You know what I mean? It's like, I bought a Ferrari California, it's a 2014 or something, or no, 2012? Something like that, it's around that era. But no one's gonna look at it and be like, oh, he bought a 2012 Ferrari, ugh. Probably like the rich and snobby maybe, but everyone else is gonna look at it and be like, yo, that guy's got a Ferrari. Like, that's the insane thing for me about like those types of cars. So for me, I'm fine with buying something used like that. But then kind of coming back, with the car thoughts that I have, talking about cars, you know, it's what's good. But on the topic of cars, my dad, he had always been like his job. He always sponsored cars as well. So I had always been around cars. Always, well, not always. I would say probably more around 20. Well, no, because before my mom and my dad got married, I had kind of, it's kind of a legal guardian, kind of a guardian, who, he had a Corvette. And ooh, Corvette Z06, amazing. I love it. It's spectacular. So I was like, yeah, I really like cars like this. They're really nice. Like, that's basically all I thought about it. My mom and my dad got married, and then basically how it kind of went was my dad, he then got a new job, way better than the other job that he had, because he is actually, like, kind of respected in his work. So he was actually able to do sponsorships and stuff with different cars, or different, like, race cars and stuff. So for a long time, he sponsored a Porsche. And when he did that, he was able to get everybody in his company, everybody out, like invitations to, like, from different companies and stuff, to go out and watch the races. And here we have a massive racetrack. I think it's not massive in comparison to a lot, but it's a racetrack that's amazing nonetheless. That they stop by and they race here. So his Porsche racer was able to come, and man, I cannot even tell you how amazing it was to see all of those cars. You had GTRs, you had Bentleys, you had Ferraris, Lamborghinis, all of these types of cars. It was actually funny, the first time I ever went, I'm like looking around, I'm like stumbling, because I'm like, oh my gosh, they're so amazing. And my mom was like, man, you would have thought that there would be naked women here. Nope, no mom, just cars, that's all I need. Although, kidding. My family or anyone's watching this. For all my friends. Anyway. But yeah, so then since then, my love for cars kind of grew. So I have a buddy of mine, his name's Ethan, who's way more into cars than I am. Like, he absolutely loves them. And I have a buddy of mine named Dennis, who loves them even more. His dad is from England. I'm not sure which part. But they always go to like Formula One races. They always go to this place and that place. We're always looking up like really cool cars and stuff. So we're always looking at like different cars and stuff. Whenever we see a nice car, we were driving home one day, or no, we were driving to my house late at night, and all of a sudden we see like his lights, and we just hear like right past us. It was crap, what was it? It was like a Subaru BRZ. Like I love it because it's amazing. It's a Subaru. It's really cool. However, it's rear-wheel drive too. I don't get why this is the one Subaru that's rear-wheel drive. All of them are all-wheel drives, which I think is nice, especially for here in Utah. But yeah, we looked at that. Legit, I was looking at it so long that I almost ran into a pole in my car. Yeah, so there's always been a love of cars there. I love them. But then you can't talk about cars without talking about your cars, without talking about my cars that I've had. So my very first car was a 1999 Plymouth Breeze. A little tiny car, V4. It was zippy. It was just like, it went everywhere. It was, I think it was light in comparison to what I have now. Yeah, I had a guy who works on cars and stuff look at my car at one point while I was at work. He was like, yeah, zippy. That's the term he used. I'm like, alright, that's fine. That's fine, bro. Yeah. Oh my gosh, speaking of zippy, this thing is not zippy at all. At freaking all. Yeah, so it's one of those cars that, like, it's just, I don't know, it's a Plymouth. Like, they don't make Plymouths anymore. The last year, like, I was looking at parts for my car because I was needing to fix something on it. And literally the last year that they made my car, my version of my car, 2002. And I'm pretty sure Plymouth went out, like, just after that, too. So it was really sad. But then after that, like, I drove that for a long time. And then around the same time, there's a huge story I can get into about this Mazda that I had. That my dad bought for my aunt when she was moving, and she just wanted to get a different car. So I can save that for actually part 2. We'll do that at a different time, though. Just because, legit, just freaking editing the one video before this, for some reason, took me so long. I don't know why it took me that long. I mean, it's the first time I ever edited anything, so that's probably why. Yeah, Mazda 626 Protege. I actually had a girlfriend who had the same car as me, but it wasn't stick, so. So I had that car. It was my first car that I ever drove stick shift. And I only started using that car mainly because my sisters didn't want to learn how to drive stick. My older sister had a car. My younger sister didn't have insurance or a job to get a car or to, like, use the car, because that was, like, the prerequisite, was just be able to pay for gas and pay for insurance. That's all we ask. I was like, all right, Mom and Dad, that's fine. So I was always able to, because it was like near the end of my senior year. No, it was the second semester of my senior year. Technically, like, I worked in trimesters, but, like, just for time, I was like, the second semester, starting of the second semester, I got my license. So yeah, 2 years after I turned 16, I got my license. No judgments there. At the same time, I was working a little bit more than I normally was, just because I could. So for my insurance, it's about $150 a month, because I was splitting it with my sister technically, but she didn't. Because we were supposed to split the car, she never had a job to be able to do that. So fortunately, it was always my car, so I never had to worry about it. Unfortunately, she always liked to take charge of the car while she was in it, and it was really annoying. But, I mean, it kind of happens. You just kind of take charge of your own stuff, so I kind of get it. But with that car, something had happened to it, a little bit of an accident-a-roo, and I decided, crap, I gotta get this fixed. So we got it fixed, and it was just after the Mazda had been fixed. There's a whole story on why that Mazda had to get fixed. So I'll do the Plymouth and the Mazda story on the second part of this. And so then I had to get my Plymouth fixed, so I started using the Mazda because nobody knew how to drive stick except for, like, my parents, and no one wanted to drive stick, so it was just my car. First time ever driving stick, it was fun. I freaking stalled the car I don't know how many times. I was trying to get gas, so I was trying to reverse. Every single time it just died. I'm like, are you kidding me? Then I grew a love of driving stick, so for the longest time, I really loved driving stick. I still do. I just don't want to drive stick in Utah, or at least Salt Lake, because legit, I can't even tell you the stress that I had just driving it downtown Salt Lake, dropping my sisters off, or no, just the one sister. Everyone else had a car by that point. But then spent time in Brazil, which is a whole other story we can get into at another time. And when I came back, I immediately needed a car. So I was like, all right, looking up cars, and I only wanted a manual transmission car. That's all I wanted. I'm like, yep, this is it. I'm not getting anything else. So I bought a 2010 Mazda 3, 2.5 liters, so it was better. I think it was like the max that it had on that, something like that. So it was like it wasn't a bigger engine either. I think it was still a V4. But yeah, it was a stick, and I loved it. Except there's a whole other story there. So like the next part will probably be just about me telling stories about how my car just kind of broke down a lot, or me getting into accidents, or vice versa. I don't know. But yeah, those were my first cars. Loved them to death. And yeah, those kind of cars, like me driving stick, my dad taking me to these events and stuff, they were kind of like the start of me loving cars. I absolutely adored cars for the absolute longest time, and I still do. It's not just gonna be past tense. Like I used to. I mean, man, no, I still do because I love them with all my heart. That's why right now I'm loving my 2018 because I'm loving the soundproofing that it has. Like I wanted to get a 2007 Subaru Impreza and do a full engine swap with a WRX engine, because that's what a buddy of mine is wanting to do, because he has one that's like that. Or it's not like that. He has a 2007 Impreza. You literally buy them for super cheap because they have super high mileage. You change out the transmission and the engine for WRX engine, and other components and other things, and it's a WRX, and it's amazing and fast. However, I've gotten so used to the soundproofing in my car, I don't want that now. Like, I want it, but I don't want it at the same time. Like, if I wanted a WRX, I'd have to buy, like, a brand new one. I couldn't do it. But even then, like, buying a brand new one, I probably wouldn't do. I'd probably get, like, an older version still. So I'm looking right now, like, if I want to get a new car within the next 2 years, mainly because I'm going to be starting, like, actual classes this next year, and it's going to be online, so I'm hoping to get my associate's degree by the end of next year. And so I want to get my bachelor's in whatever I'm doing. It's more than likely going to be finance, I think. But I'm going to need probably a cheaper car, but I still want a nice car. So depending on if I do keep this car or not within the next little while, it's probably going to be the deciding factor on whether or not I get a nice car, an older car, but like have it cheaper, something like that, or just stick with this car for a while, and then once I get my bachelor's and everything, just get a whole other car, I think. We'll definitely figure it out. I don't exactly know what's still going to be happening for the next little bit. I'm still kind of going through the motions right now. But yeah, if you're looking at getting a car, looking at buying a car, get one that you want in the very, very beginning of your life. Because, in all honesty, it was funny. My mom, she's talking to me about getting the car that I want, and then I'm like, all right, I'll get a freaking Camaro. And she's like, no. I'm like, what the heck? Why? Insurance is too high. Pick a different car. I'm like, what? Okay. Get this car. No. So I decided on this. Brand new, super nice, and it's really like amazing and also kind of weird how our minds work, because we want like the newer thing, but at the same time we also have to keep in mind that like the older stuff that's a nice car is about the same as it would be like for the newer car. Like if I bought an Audi, I was looking at a 2013 Audi S5, I feel like that would compare highly to the car that I have right now. I personally think that, just because it's as nice as it is, an S5, that is spectacular. I love Audi. I love German engineering. It's amazing. But I do want to end it here for at least part one, talking about my first cars, my favorite car, and also about if you want to get a car yourself, look at getting a nicer car, but that's a little bit older, or get the new car that's kind of like a Nissan or a Honda, because those are like the basic options, I guess. Thank you guys for watching. Follow all my socials that are going to be right here at the top. at the bottom, I guess, too. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like, subscribe, comment down below. Love. Like, if you comment hate, cool. But thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in part 2. See ya.